Welcome everybody to Police Are Good People 2, Episode 8. This one's a little tougher than the other ones. It involves an incident that happened back on August 7th, 2011, where there was a mass shooting in Copley, Ohio. Small little community, quiet little neighborhood, where a crazed gunman tore through the area, shooting people, killing 8. 3 of them 17 years old or younger, even 11-year-old boy, critically wounding another person. And it culminated with a Copley police officer responding and confronting the gunman while he was still patrolling the neighborhood looking to kill more people, and he was able to neutralize him. So that's the history of the incident. What our episode is focusing on post-incident with mother of one of the victims, who we are honored to have with us on the show today. Linda, why don't I'm going to turn it over to you and go back to that time and what had happened after the actual event took place.
Well, the day before the actual funeral, I had contacted Paul and said Amelia was such an animal lover that it would be nice to just have one canine there. So Paul from there took it and made contact, and that by less than 10 hours, the funeral, I had 17 canines there from all over the community, from Akron, from Medina, Copley. We had numerous canines there, and they all stood at total attention when the hearse drove by. The other thing is, I still have like all these newspapers articles that it was a national type of event that went throughout the United States, and I still cannot read the newspaper articles.
Yeah, and we understand that.
Yeah.
And when you asked me to try and see if we could get a canine officer there, I contacted Nevin Webb at the time, and then he transferred it to Sergeant Chris Davis. And Chris, why don't you talk a little bit about what happened with the coordination and the canines for that event?
Okay. I was actually, I was on scene of the incident. I was out there a little after it happened, but the crime scene unit was still out there. It's obviously a very large crime scene, and they were still processing everything. So I was still out there when the victims were still on scene. So it was, Paul got a hold of me. It had a special impact on me because of that. I've never, in my 33 years, that was the worst by far, obviously, of anything I've ever had to be on. And so I immediately started making calls, and every canine handler that I knew in the area, everybody that I called made sure they were going to be there that day, no matter what they had going on. I don't remember anybody, it's been like 14 years now, I don't remember anybody saying they couldn't make it. And how many dogs was there altogether? We said 17. 17. Yeah. And I think Nevin called some people, and Sergeant Dale Dorn, I think, called a couple people also. And we went out there with the dogs, because the dogs, a lot of them are patrol dogs, type A personality, as you say. A lot of times, situations like that, because we don't do it very often, they can be out there, especially if it's a long procession, which obviously was a very long procession. They can start barking and carrying on, and for whatever reason, it was just a very sublime situation where all the dogs seemed to be very calm. I remember that day, as the procession drove by out of the church, all the dogs just there was a calmness over all of them. I've been on a couple other things of that nature where the dogs bark, and they didn't. They were just very quiet and calm, and most of them stood at attention, and it was something I'll never forget.
Mm-hmm. That was all volunteer work from the canine office? Yeah.
Everybody did it on their time. Nobody was getting paid to do it. And of course, when we found out that one of the victims, Linda's daughter, loved dogs, I mean, I think everybody felt the same way, that they were going to make sure they're going to be there for it.
Mm-hmm. And Linda, like you said, when you called me, I think it was late, it was in the evening, and I made one call, and I said, oh yeah, and then I think it was within 20 minutes, after I got a call back, and they said there's going to be at least 13 dogs there for an event that was happening within 8 to 10 hours, correct?
Yes.
So it's remarkable how the community comes together for something like this. And I know, Linda, you had mentioned previous to our interview today about a Copley officer, Sarah, I think you
Sarah
said.
Shindy was there. She was remarkable, especially I still had my 13-year-old daughter, and she was so supportive and immediately took to her. And she stayed a part of Lindsay's life, and to this day, I think I hear from her at least once a week. She texts me and has stayed a part of my life too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, there were just many heroes that came together in not just in Copley, but in all the communities that made a difference for all of us.
Yeah, the event rocked Northeast Ohio. I mean,
Yes.
it really was, like Linda said, it was a national story at the time, and it upset the entire area of our state. And still to this day, the wounds are there, But we, as we do in these shows, even in an incident as bad as this, we try and find the good in there somewhere if it's buried deep inside there. And it's an honor to have Linda, because I know it's not easy for you, and to be a part of this, to show the impact that the police department can have for a victim, essentially. Mike, do you have any?
I'm just still amazed by the fact that be able to put together 17, not just officers, canine officers, and Chris, you've done this long enough that this is your partner too that you got to look out for, and to be able to get that, and those canine officers, they're not showing up to be a hero, they're showing up to help. They're showing up to help, and that just I mean, you got to get some inspiration from that.
Chris, he is part of talking about this interview today. You have a new canine, right?
Yeah, well, newer, yes. My fourth dog.
Your
Since I've been doing it, yeah.
What's his name?
Paco.
And
his full name is Apocalypse, but it goes by Paco. Yeah.
Okay, and he's a rescue dog. Am I correct to understand?
Yeah, he's rescued me. Yeah, pretty much.
But didn't you say when you got him, his collar was?
Yeah, he's from New Jersey. So they say he doesn't bark, he barks. That's the little joke.
Oh yeah. Go quit your day job.
So anyways, when I got him, he was 10 months old. I was his fourth owner. The story goes from the person that I got him from, he was tied to a tree as a pup. The owners a couple was going through a divorce. The female half took him in. He was tied to a tree, wasn't paying attention. He ended up, as he was growing, he grew into his collar. He actually had to surgically remove the collar out of his skin. So when I got him at 10 months old, he still had the scars left. But he went from the original people that had him to a canine officer in New Jersey. He had another dog, he had a lot going on. He ended up passing him on to a woman named Yana. She's a dog trainer. I met her at the kennel. She said, hey, I got this dog. She got him out. We seemed to hit it off right away. And then, like I said, he's been with me ever since. And he's come a long ways. I'm really proud of him. We have a little competition every year down at Block 3 in Akron, and it's called the Canine Challenge. And he ended up getting the top dog in that. And, for having 4 different owners in the first 10 months of his life, I'm really, really proud of him.
Wonderful. And you'll meet him before the episode ends today.